Okay, so today we are going to discuss whether or not Pluto should be a planet or if it should continue to be a dwarf planet. On the dwarf planet side, we have Kennedy, and on the regular planet side, we have Chloe. Chloe, go ahead and give us your side.
I believe Pluto should be a planet because it was already a planet, and that just means that they have to put more money towards making new books for science and making they had a lot of people who Pluto was their favorite planet, and now it's just oh man, that's not a planet now. I have to change my favorite planet. And a lot of older folk, teachers and stuff, were already taught that Pluto was a planet. So now going through, they're oh man, I have to remember that's not a planet now, and it makes life a lot harder.
Now, with the dwarf planet side, we have Kennedy.
Okay, so I think that Pluto should stay a dwarf planet because there is a dwarf planet, Pluto's twin, Eris, that is bigger than Pluto, not by much. It is 1,445 miles long, and Pluto is 1,430 miles long. And if we're going to consider Pluto a planet, why don't we consider Eris a planet too, since it's bigger? And Pluto is actually smaller than our moon, so what would be the point of considering that a planet when it's smaller than our home planet's moon?
So you made the point that Pluto is smaller than our moon, but Pluto has 5 known satellites. How many satellites does Eris have, if it even has any?
Yes, it does have one. It's a satellite called Dysmorphia. So it does have a moon. So when we consider Eris a planet, we're going to consider Pluto a planet, even though Pluto is smaller than Eris. Why does having to change your favorite planet matter?
Because, you know what? Maybe their favorite planet reminds them of how small they are, because it reminds them of power. And maybe yeah, it's just a planet, but that teaches people that size doesn't matter. Well, no, that size does matter. And you know what? If that teaches people that size matters, those short people that walk around the street, it makes them feel bad, because what if they want to be called people, but then that's like scientists saying, oh, they're too short to be people.
Are they planets?
No, they're not planets.
Why should we keep Pluto a planet? Well, there's another planet out there. Sure, it's far away from the sun, but it's 9 times the size of Earth. And we have this little thing, Pluto, over here. Why should we replace this little thing with this one? We have a way better one right here. That's my question for you.
Because think about it this way. Just because planet X is 9 times bigger than Earth, that would be like saying, oh, we should make this a planet, but then we would have to consider Earth a non-planet and a dwarf planet. But there's life on Earth. So we would have to replace Earth and call it a dwarf planet if we took that planet X that is 9 times bigger. But can planet X even hold life on it? And see, Pluto's also in our not our atmosphere, our solar system. So it should still stay a planet because planet X is not in our solar system, but Pluto is.
Well, Pluto at one point was considered one of Neptune's moons because it went through Neptune's orbit and orbited around Neptune. And the only reason we've actually considered it as a planet is because we found it in the Kuiper Belt. And we thought, oh man, this could be a planet, guys. It has a moon. Well, so is planet X. And we haven't considered it a planet quite yet. And we don't have to consider Earth a dwarf planet. No, because we still want 9 planets, man. And we gotta scoot in planet X there because Pluto, is a dwarf planet because too small. No one cares about his moons. Okay? The other planets have moons. The dwarf planets have moons. We still are considering them a dwarf planet. even though some other dwarf planets are just a tad bit smaller than Pluto. So why we gotta be special and only consider Pluto as a planet?
Because we're savage like that.
Why shouldn't we consider Pluto a Kuiper Belt object?
We shouldn't consider Pluto a Kuiper Belt object because, like, if it's in the Kuiper Belt and it has satellites, it's obviously still surviving if we still know that it's there. And scientists haven't made this whole deal about, oh, Pluto's gone. So obviously it has enough atmosphere to keep what's in it in and what's out of it out. And if, say, something was to come into its atmosphere, that's enough, then we can consider it not a planet. But until then, I feel we should consider it a planet because it may be in the Kuiper Belt, but it survived this long.
Why shouldn't we consider Pluto a moon since there's moons that have moons, and Pluto technically goes through Neptune's orbit and orbits around Neptune. So why should we not consider Pluto a moon?
We shouldn't consider Pluto a moon because it was never considered a moon in the first place. And while yes, it does sometimes enter Saturn's orbit and becomes Neptune's orbit and becomes one with Neptune, the moon, and everything. I believe we shouldn't because it was never considered one in the first place, and scientists still haven't proven it to be a moon, considering it does move out of Neptune's orbit.
Well,
Can you pause it? But 2 of Saturn's moons has moons.
But Pluto still moves out of Neptune's orbit, so we shouldn't consider it a moon because it's not constant in Neptune's orbit to be considered a moon.
for closing statements, first we have Chloe.
Pluto should be a planet because it has its own moons, and it has more moons than Planet X and Eris. It should be a planet because it's savage like that, and it hasn't died in the Kuiper Belt, and it's not always in Neptune's orbit.
And Kennedy.
Pluto should still be a dwarf planet, for reasons I've already said.